Kelsey, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
Like I
for
said
having me.
before, I love the shirt, by the way. Circle Jerks, very nice.
Yes, it's the best.
Good band, solid band. It's a
Agreed.
controversial opinion, though, so
Is it?
no, I
Are
don't
there
know.
haters?
I don't know, maybe, probably. There's probably some people
There's
that don't
all,
like Circle Jerks.
yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
They have no clue. I don't listen to those guys. I hear him, I go, all right, this guy, he doesn't know. He doesn't know about coup d'etat. None of that.
Yeah.
That song coup d'etat in a great film, Repo Man.
Yes. Huge fan of the movie, the soundtrack. It's the best. It's the best.
It's a great film. I haven't seen it in a while. I gotta rewatch it. It's one of those films that I gotta see again.
You definitely do. Everyone has to. It's so good. I have the soundtrack on tape and on vinyl, and I have burned that thing out. Like I could listen to that forever.
Yeah,
It's so good.
it's a good one. It's a great, like the whole soundtrack. Get the plugs in there, which is also good. I believe that's in there, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, it's just like I think they have a couple songs, but like kind of throughout the movie, there's like this guitar playing, and then kind of in that like big moment towards the end of the movie, it's like it's the best song ever, and it's on the soundtrack, and you can't find it anywhere. I feel like it's probably on YouTube, but like it's not on Spotify or anything. But that it's just an instrumental track by the Plugs, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And it has kind of like a driving moment at the end, but it's so good. God, it's called Real 10 is the name of the song.
Yeah, I did like that movie a lot, and Harry Dean Stanton's in it, which is he's fucking amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. One of my best friends, he owns a record shop here in LA, and he is about to have his first child in just a couple of weeks, and his name is Otto after the character in the movie because it's one of his favorite movies too. Just
Yeah.
a fun fact.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Emilio Estevez is really good in that as well.
Yeah,
Underrated Sheen
so good.
Estevez.
Oh, good.
Yeah, fantastic movie. You mentioned that you had the tape and the CD, and you burned it a lot. Were you more of owning a lot of tapes as a kid or CDs?
I definitely, I kind of grew up in the era of CDs. So I had a lot of CDs, but when I was younger and I had some friends that still like made mix tapes. So my first tapes were all like mixes, and then I was kind of more into I wanted vinyl and like I wanted tapes, even though that was like, not the easiest way to listen to music during like this time. But and then, and then digital, it all kind of started going digital. And I don't know, I've always just been a fan of like the tangible thing, the music, the artwork. I want to see the liner notes. So yeah, I kind of had it all.
All formats, whatever you need, you have it.
Exactly. It's true. I do, even to this day.
I like it. I like a good tape, and I have a lot of them, and I need to figure out a better storage system for it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's difficult, but they're small, but there's just a lot of small things. So
Yeah.
it's an issue. That's what we're actually here to talk about today. What are the solutions for my tape dilemma here? That's why I brought you on, not to talk about music or anything like that. Just tape storage, how you store tapes. Yeah, I'm just trying to get some outside opinions on this.
I'm hyped on that. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Let's find the solution here today.
let's get into it. What's the dimensions of a J card? Let's start there.
God.
What were some CDs or tapes that you religiously listened to outside the Repo Man soundtrack as a kid?
Okay, when I was younger, CD Live Through This by Hole changed, that changed the game for me. just, yeah, I would just obsessively listen to that album. And like at the time, I'm like trying to even remember like how I like discovered other bands. And it was like it was like, if they were obviously associated, like I found Hole because I like Nirvana. And it was like, once I found Hole, I didn't have a lot of like kind of female vocalists that I was aware of at that time and that age. So I was kind of like always searching for more music like that and never really like found that much. Now that I'm like older, I can like go back and like, it's so much easier, I feel like, to like discover different bands and music and stuff. But that was a CD that I had on repeat. And then as far as tapes go, like I said, my friends made mixtapes. So it was just like a mix of everything. Like that's my first mixtape I got. I think I was 13 or I might have been 14, but it had like Bad Brains on it. I still have the tape today too. I like will never let go of that thing. Yeah, I'm not trying to remember what else was on there. I think X was on it. Just a lot of kind of solid bands that have stuck with me throughout, everything. These are the bands that I return to over and over again. And, when I was younger, I feel like my parents were always like, oh, your music, you're like what you want to listen to is going to change so much like as you grow. And here I am like all these years later, and I'm like, I'm still listening to like the exact same shit. And I mean, obviously I've found new stuff too, but there's the classics.
Sure, absolutely. What were your parents listening to?
My mom was a really big fan of the Beatles, but I don't really remember her listening to a lot of Beatles when I was younger. Both my parents liked the Rolling Stones, so that was like something I remember hearing a lot of when I was a kid, and like Bob Marley. My mom had a Paula Cole CD in her car that I loved. That's, if you don't know who that is, she sings "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone?"
Okay.
It's like I don't even know, is she like a country artist, is she a singer song, I don't know, but just kind of random stuff like that. I don't know, not punk music though, that's for sure.
You stumbled upon that on your own terms.
I did, yeah, I did.
Good deal. And correct me if I'm wrong, this was in Houston, correct? That's where you were raised?
Right, yes, yeah. And a lot of
Interesting.
like old, like, like blues music and like, I don't know, just, yeah, kind of a mix of everything, I feel like.
A good eclectic sound that you're taking in.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. At what point did you decide, all right, I want to play music myself. I want to be a part of this
Pretty
kind of thing that's happening?
quickly. I feel like, when I found the bands that I really liked, and like at the time, yes, was like Nirvana and Hole and stuff, I definitely was like, I want to learn how to play guitar. Like I liked a lot of guitar music. So, and I remember begging my parents for a guitar. I was like, please. And I don't really recall like what, anyway, I wanted an electric guitar. They eventually settled and got me an acoustic guitar. And I was like, whatever, this works. Like I can learn how to play guitar. And I taught myself. I did take like 1 or 2 lessons from this guy, but he taught me like a G chord and like maybe one other chord. And then he was like, okay, like let's learn how to play like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I was like, I'm good. This is not what I want. Like I'd rather teach myself. And I that ended that pretty quickly. And then I just taught myself like, through like kind of tabs on the internet and just by like listening, like how to make the shapes of chords and stuff. So
Looking at photos, you're like, all right, okay, try to do that.
yeah.
Sure. That's good though. So self-taught for the most part, besides, I mean, the crucial G chord and the other chord that he taught you.
Solid members of the chord groups.
And he was a staple within your music career. And you thank him every time that you play live, right? You go, thank you for my music teacher for teaching me these 2 chords. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, right?
every single time.
Gotcha.
I mean, you never know.
You don't. You really don't. Until it's apparent. You're like, oh, okay, now I know. But it's in hindsight. So, do you recall the first song that you wrote?
I feel like there was a few songs that kind of all came up at the same time. It's probably like 14 or 15, but they all sounded pretty similar. But I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember, like I can kind of hear it in my head, but I don't really, I probably have a recording of it somewhere, like in my email or on a hard drive or something.
On a tape, because you burned it, sure.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like a single.
Yeah, it's a hit single. You can get it on our Bandcamp.
Okay, good. All right. And that'll be linked below for the single. Please go ahead and check that out. Yeah. I always appreciate a good single. I have one. It's that song "Pump Up the Jam" by Tectonic, I think is who plays that song. I could be wrong about that, but yeah.
I love that for you.
It's a good one. And I mean, obviously we're gonna figure out afterwards how to store it. But yeah.
Right. I also have one single that I got when I was super young and I've never gotten rid of it. And it's Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. And it's a hit.
It was. It still is, rather. Not was, is.
It still is a hit.
People love it. How do you feel about the song? Is that one of your not favorite songs, but a song that you enjoy?
It kind of is, it's a guilty pleasure, but I don't feel that guilty about it. I really I'm kind of like into that era of Guns N' Roses and like Bon Jovi. Like those are my, like I get wild when I hear those songs.
Those are your guys. Those are your bros.
My fucking guys.
True idols. For me, Guns N' Roses is one of those bands that I could go without hearing again. It's been overplayed for me. This is a personal opinion. I know it's going to rub some people the wrong way. I don't need to hear Guns N' Roses again. Now, that being said, do you have one of those bands that you're like, I'm good without hearing them again? I've heard them enough. I
do, but people like hate me for it.
Let's hear it. Controversial.
Okay. I have a couple that are like, people like actually hate me when I say this. I'm really not a fan of Queen. At least like the hits. I heard like a deep cut kind of recently and I was like, oh, I kind of like this, but it's like those kind of hit songs that you're just like, they're burned in your brain. I'm just like, I can't do it. It just makes me sick. Right. It's overplayed. Yes. Yeah. And then I get that. I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel good in my ears. Queen.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm not taking offense to that. I can get it. Especially with the couple of songs that have been overplayed the past couple of years.
We Will Rock You.
Well, that's my ringtone. Minus that.
Let's sit down.
By the way, speaking of that, I haven't heard anybody's like ringtone that's a personalized song in quite a while, Yeah,
that was a thing. I had a Social Distortion ringtone back in the day. It was Ball and Chain. My Social Distortion was my ringtone. Okay, there you have it.
You knew whose phone was whose. Hey, come on now. I'm the one with Social D on the ringtone.
Yeah.
I'm paying $1.25 for this per month, and I intend. You better call me.
It wasn't monthly. It was a one-time.
Oh, it was a one-time purchase.
A one-time purchase.
You got a good deal on it.
I know.
It's pretty good.
Maybe I'll bring it. I'll bring it back.
I think it's time. Because I mean, especially with phones nowadays. I mean, back in the day with like the flip phones, it's like there's a lot of variety with it's like a slide one or a flip one or a flip and slide one. There's lots of different variables with it.
Today, so much.
Today it's like, oh, whose iPhone is that? It's every phone looks the same.
Yeah. Yep.
So you gotta buy that song back.
I just might.
I think it's time to bring it back. You go, hey, hold it. I gotta take this phone call. And they're like, yeah, we heard it blaring. You're connected to the Bluetooth. Just cuts through. Going back to your controversial subject of overplayed musicians and or artists, was there another one that came to mind minus Queen that you're like, oh, I'm over that?
There is some Tom Petty that I don't jam with.
That's fine.
Sorry once more.
I will tell you, Kelsey, that the Heartbreakers do listen to this podcast, and I apologize to them. Sorry. No offense. Moving forward, though, let's try to be mindful of that the Heartbreakers are big fans of this podcast.
You asked. This is a tell-all, and
I understand.
I'm just digging myself in a hole. We'll just finish the job here.
And I get that. And again, apologies to Heartbreakers. Kelsey is a heartbreaker herself, so it's kind of it's some people are too alike, and I feel like this is the case for that. So moving forward, we apologize, Heartbreakers.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Is there another one? Is there another one that's prominent for you that you're like, eh?
Those are just the two, like, off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure I could sit here and really like get into some more, but those are the only two that are really coming to the forefront of my mind.
I appreciate you being so honest about this. A lot of people try to hide that, try to hide what they don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Be out in the open with it. My Guns N' Roses, also more controversially, I feel like, and please correct me if you think that I am wrong with this opinion of this being more controversial than Guns N' Roses, but AC/DC, overplayed.
Overplayed, but I still kind of can like get down.
What, I'm not supposed to play Shoot to Thrill? Whatever. Come on.
Hey, to each their own, you know.
Is AC/DC the most popular Australian band?
I didn't even know they were from Australia, so
we'll go with no.
So maybe not.
I'm pretty sure they're from Australia.
That is interesting. Wow. Okay, I'll take that in. I'll absorb that for a moment.
Men at Work too, also great band.
Yes.
I said it on the last podcast I did, underrated Australian band, Men at Work.
Didn't know. Actually, you could kind of like hear it, but I didn't know that they were from Australia either.
Yeah, that's a great Australian band.
Yeah. They have a song I really like called The Message. I think it's called The Message.
Is it on that album? It's like yellow with black text on it.
I don't know what album it's on.
We're gonna check. You know what? People comment below if we have that correct. If that is because we're not gonna do the research.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it is.
Give us some knowledge.
Yeah, drop it below if we do have it correct, or if we don't have it correct. Either way,
yeah,
you let us know. The listeners are a part of this as well, Kelsey.
Yeah, they are.
Going back to your own Australian songs and the first songs that you wrote, do you remember how you felt after you wrote your first song? Was that a big achievement for you?
No, I don't think it, like, I don't know. For me, I feel like songwriting is more of like it's like something I just like have to get out of my body. So it's like I get it out and it's like, okay, I have it out. It's not like, oh, I feel like I just like achieved something. But that being said, I feel like there are a couple of songs later in life that I've written that I'm like, oh, I feel good about that one. But
just a little good about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more of just like it's just like a natural cycle or something. Just gotta get it out
Right.
some way or another.
I get that. Do you find that sense of accomplishment through other aspects of making music, or is it not within music?
Um, I think there's been some shows that we've played where I'm like, oh, that was a really good show. Like that feels really good. There's also been shows where I'm like, oh, that didn't feel so good. Like I feel like, that wasn't great. So I feel like maybe there I can like attach that feeling a little bit more. But even then, like when I'm playing, I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. I'm just in it and I'm like, here we go. And then it's over. And I'm like, oh, okay. Don't know what just happened, but there we go.
Do you remember the first time you got up on stage with a band to perform live?
Yes, I was afraid. I was scared.
Now, was this in Houston at the time?
This was, yeah, I guess wasn't really a stage, but yeah, yeah.
Got in front of people and said, "Hey, listen
Got
to
in
me."
front of people.
Yeah.
I wasn't singing. There was no way in hell I was doing that.
Oh, okay.
Like I was just playing guitar, whatever. I feel like, I could take kind of the back seat and just hang out. But I was always really afraid to like, you know, actually sing. So it took me a long time to actually get there. So, and it's like you kind of let fear live large in your head and then you like do something and you're just like, why did I make that such a big deal in my head? Because it really isn't a big fucking deal at all. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And you just have to feel the freaky feelings and then it's done. And you're like, okay, here we go.
Good deal. Good deal, Kelsey. Thank you for. I mean, I feel motivated now.
Well,
I
that's good.
think. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go up and do something aside from the podcast.
You should.
I don't know. Maybe go get a job at a bagel shop or something. It's really cool. I don't know. Feel a freaky feeling.
Yes.
Was there a job that you always thought would be like a cool job, but I mean you never worked it, but you're like that's another life.
Mm, I don't know why. The first thing I'm thinking of is being a construction worker.
All
Like,
right.
I would want to, I don't know that I don't think I could ever do that because my like attention to detail when like measuring, well, that's not necessarily true. Just in like certain contexts of like building things or stuff like that. I'd like to know how to do that, but I don't think that I will.
You'd be into it though. You'd be like super into it.
I think, yeah. I don't know. Usually when I like do something, I'm into it. So
You're full bore. This is it. You say
yeah,
no music. I got to build this house. I said it'd be done by June, so we're up against a time crunch now.
yeah, that's kind of my vibe. So yes.
Understandable. I like it.
God, when I commit, I try to stay committed.
And you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dialed in. You're measuring. You're measuring maybe 3 times. They say measure twice, cut once. You say fuck that noise. We'll double up on it 4 times. And do four
Yeah.
measurements, and then we might cut it just to see what it looks like. Maybe.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I can't even measure the like correct amount of fabric for like a curtain.
That's fine. I mean, it's built in a house, and I mean, you're more of a build a house kind of person, which is awesome. You go let other people decorate it inside. I'm making the whole structure.
Yeah. I could like pour the foundation. I've hung some drywall before
It's a
in
great
this
start.
room that I'm sitting in.
So you
So,
you built the whole house.
so I built every house you've ever seen. I built them all.
That's wild. I mean, you have a contract with some cities or something, because that's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's a great position to be in.
I am strong. I am strong.
I mean, that's it. I mean, no more adjectives needed. Strong. That's it. That's what you put on your resume,
Resume.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. You get strong.
Qualities, strong.
Experience. Houses? Question mark. In brackets. You seen them?
Strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
I'm strong. Strong houses. Yeah. So give me a fucking job.
Yeah.
Direct. You say I'm not wasting anybody's time. I'm not dicking around here. No bullshitting. I just got amped up. Listen to AC/DC on the way over here. I'm fucking ready. So let's do this.
If we listen to AC/DC, we could fucking build anything we wanted.
Okay, so soundtrack has a huge. It's just AC/DC that you have to
And
listen to,
Guns N' Roses. Sorry.
and Guns N' Roses. Yes, it's. Hey, I'm not building houses. I these are the little things I don't, understand that goes into them. So if that's a part of it, I mean, I might have to just deal with that. That might just have to be part of it. If I was to build a house, I go, well, we have to fucking do this. Nobody wants to do this, but we have to. It's
Yeah.
needed.
We're in this together. So
Right.
sorry.
Just have to bite my tongue on it, and just, nobody likes to work anyways. It's just a part of like not wanting to work. Okay. I don't want to listen to AC/DC, but if I can do it, okay, it's my job.
Yes. Listening to AC/DC is your job for sure.
Oh gosh, that'd be a tough job. But somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to listen to AC/DC.
Yeah. Somebody's got to get all those streams.
When did you decide that you're like, okay, I'm gonna sing, and I want to play guitar, and I want to be more upfront while performing?
I think, I've always written songs since I first started playing guitar, and I have shared them with people along the way, not very many people. And then I think, I got sober in 2016, and that was kind of a turning point for me where I just felt like, okay, like I actually want to record. I just have demos basically, and I wanted to record something and release it and actually just like put it out there and just, see what happens, let it go, whatever. So I did that. And that was like a huge thing for me to do. And at the time I was like, I'm not going to play shows. This was in 2018. So 2 years of like kind of writing, from getting sober to like writing songs, recording them, releasing them. And then it took another year and a half or a little bit longer to play the first show because I wasn't ready. I didn't want to. I was working, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to even do that. It's very like vulnerable, like sharing music, and then also more vulnerable having to perform it. So it just kind of spooked me. And then I just kind of did it and never looked back, and I've been doing it since then. So like the end of 2019, been playing.
Wow. That's insane. The inception of it being like in like 2016-ish, is that what you said, that when you were creating a little bit of demos?
Yeah, I had some songs before that that ended up kind of being on that first release in 2018, but I wrote more songs and left some of them behind. Some of them didn't make the cut. So yeah, but that's kind of when I first was like, okay, I'm ready to take this next step.
Mm-hmm. And was that still in Houston, or was that out here in California?
Yeah, that was in LA. So I had already been living out here for a few years.
Okay. What initially drew you out to California?
I had been here before and always loved it, growing up listening to a lot of like Southern California punk music. just always kind of had an attraction and, you know, wanted to like see that scene kind of. So I came out here once, I don't remember what year it was, maybe 2007 or 6. That was the first time I ever came to LA, and I loved it. And then I was still pretty young then. And then my best friend from Houston, she moved out here in 2009, and I just would come out here and visit her and stay with her. And she went to an art school called Cal Arts, like 30 minutes north of LA. So I kind of got introduced to like that kind of art scene, I guess. And there was a lot of music too. And I knew like one day I would eventually move here for good. I had been moving around a lot at the time. I moved to Nashville, I moved back to Houston, I moved to Austin, I moved back to Houston. And so I was like, I feel like I need to not move. But then, yeah, I ended up moving here pretty quickly, I guess. So yeah.
Good deal. Jumping around, seeing what fits, building houses, the whole shebang.
Yes.
AC/DC cranked to 11 the whole time.
All the way up the whole time.
Would you, I mean, my speaker system, it doesn't go past 11 in my car, but I don't want to blow out the amps too, or the little speakers, you know. That's a big part. You ever driven around with somebody that had blown speakers in their car?
Oh yeah, I feel like that's been me. I've been the one driving around with blown out speakers.
And now we know why, because you're just blaring it. You said
Ranking AC/DC.
And Guns N' Roses, yes.
Thank you there.
All on one 120-minute tape. And there's another one that I don't like either. Warrant, either. It's also
Who?
Warrant, the cherry pie. I think they make cherry pie. Maybe
I've never even known who sang that song.
Pretty sure it's Warrant. And again, I'm not going to check. Leave it below if I am wrong or correct. But yeah, I'm going to say it's Warrant. I'm pretty sure it is.
That stone is better left unturned.
I'm curious, but I'm not gonna check. It's just sometimes you just leave it. You go, I think that's that. I think that's the answer to that.
Oh. I'm like, did I think someone else sang that song, or did I never really care who sang it? It was just, you know, a radio staple.
Right. And obviously it was on at least one of your mixes there to kind of bridge the gap between GNR and AC/DC.
No, but there was Pearl Jam on some mixes.
Okay.
Pearl Jam is fire. Okay.
I'm not trying to get into a fight. I'm not trying to argue. No, I really haven't explored it, I'll be honest with you. And they're around the same time as Nirvana and In Hole and that kind of thing. It's a grunge kind of arena. It's Eddie Vedder, correct? He was fronting that, and then he did his own thing.
Yes.
With Hootie and the Blowfish, right? That's also him. He was Hootie.
I was like, what? I'm like, you keep just dropping some little bombs.
Yeah, Eddie Vedder, frontman for Hootie and the Blowfish, alongside Darius Rucker, who was Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish. They actually co-sang more of like a melody type of thing. It sounded really good.
Oh.
Yeah. They had like seven full lengths with that, and then Eddie went on to do his own thing.
7 singers.
Yeah. It's vast. They've been around since like 74, I think, Hootie and the Blowfish. So yeah.
Have they? I don't know anything about them.
No, I think they're like whatever, mid 90s.
They've been around since the 70s.
Yeah, 70, 72 was like my favorite years of Hootie and the Blowfish for sure. That's when they were at their strongest, I feel.
Okay. I looked this one up.
Please.
1986. That's kind of okay.
That's way earlier than I really thought that. I thought they were like 90s. I guess it blew up in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Only true blowfishes would know.
And you are apparently one.
I say fuck parrot heads, so I have blowfishes.
Oh.
Yeah. Now parrot heads are Jimmy Buffett fans.
Right. I did know that.
As you know, because you are a fellow parrot head.
That might be another one that I'm like,
You go, fuck your cheeseburger in paradise. I don't want any part of it.
Can't get down with. Oh, Mariah Carey. Not my favorite. Sorry,
No.
I just thought of another.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's associated with like a bad memory. I had like 3rd-degree like sunburn, and I was on a trip with my friend, and we were like 14, and she like just covered me in aloe vera gel and like left me in the hotel room. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna go like party. Like, yeah, we're 14, but she's like, all right, I'm gonna go. And she just like left Mariah Carey on repeat. And I couldn't stand up to like turn it off because I was in so much pain because I was all burnt up. And ever since then, I'm like, I can't. So sorry, Mariah.
I feel like a lot of people aren't, because I'm assuming this is in the summertime that this was stuck on, and then your feelings for Mariah kind of surfaced up. I don't like this woman. I don't like this woman's music. Rather, maybe Mariah's a nice woman. I don't know. I never met her. We don't really, our circles don't cross paths very often. So
Yeah,
she's like a friend of a friend, but I don't know her. So it's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, I've seen her at parties and stuff, but I don't
you
chat.
don't say hi.
If I'm leaving and she's next to somebody that I know, I'll, hey, like, good to see you. And she does likewise. So yeah. So we're not super close. But the only time that I hear about people really talking about Mariah Carey is around this time, winter time. So it's interesting that the disdain towards the music occurred in the summer month.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah. And that's, everyone loves that song at Christmas. And I'm just like, you guys are wild for that.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's a fine opinion. I would never say it because she's friends with a friend. Obviously, as I said, I'm not gonna, and I don't
Friends
like
with Heartbreakers, so they're gonna tell her after they listen to this.
I forgot about them. I forgot about that part. It's
gonna be bad for us.
A lot of moving parts. Well, I mean, I'm distancing myself from it. I'm making a disclaimer. I think these are all Kelsey's points. When you started Reckling, this was it, you said in 2018, 2019 ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it started moving.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea of what you wanted the band to sound like and kind of feel like before creating it, or while making it in its early stages?
I mean, the songs just kind of come out the way they come out. I'll demo them and I'll try to like roughly, the early demos definitely sounded a lot different because I didn't even know how to like do that much like recording on the computer. I mostly would record demos slower than what I wanted them to be. So I knew that I wanted it to be faster, and that I wanted like live drums. So those were 2 crucial things, I think. But I don't know, I think as far as like the sound goes, it just kind of was like a natural thing. I don't know that much about like how to get like this tone on my guitar, like with this amp and this pedal and this setting, like whatever. I just kind of find something that I don't know what it is. I just like it. And it just happens to be kind of loud and a little distorted. And yeah, it just kind of happened. I think there was no like, oh, I really want to like start a project or write a song that sounds like this or that. Like it just kind of was what it was. It just was whatever it was when it came out of me. And yeah, I don't know.
So it's really natural kind of progression of things that occurred to
Definitely
to get it going. What bands were you kind of playing alongside in the while you were starting this around this era?
Well, the first shows we ever said yes to were with the Vivian girls on their like they released a new record and kind of did like a reunion tour. So we did the Southern California dates with them, but I was like, which were kind of at bigger venues. And I was like, well, I don't really want our first show ever to be at this like giant venue in LA. Like, so then we ended up playing this festival in LA called Echo Park Rising. And we played at our friend's record store at like 11 p.m. We were the last band to go on. And it was like, all the neighborhood like venues, cafes, record stores, whatever, everyone like just had bands playing all day and all night. So it was like kind of like a block party festival thing. So that was our first show ever. And a bunch of people played. I don't even know who else played. And then our second show, we played in like a warehouse in downtown. But yeah, our first shows really were with Vivian girls. And then after that, we played with some Australian bands called ACTC.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I was like, yep. Let me walk right into that.
No, we played these Australian bands called Dune Rats and DZ Death Rays and then I don't know, yeah. So, some local LA bands. We played with two Feels, Slaughterhouse. Yeah, just kind of, I don't know. It was just like, I think being surrounded and knowing so many people kind of in the music scene in LA, it was like, oh, you're playing now, like play the show with us. So it was just like, knowing so many people that do it already, it's like, oh, cool, a new band, like you guys should play with us. And that's kind of what it was. And then, for the bigger, I guess, bands in the beginning, it was just like word of mouth, like asking someone, hey, do you know a band that could play this show? And then we just got recommended. And so that's just kind of how it started. And yeah.
Good deal. How did it feel for you these first couple of shows, like the Echo Park show and playing in the warehouse, in these kind of early gigs? Did it feel like this is right? Like this is what I wanted it to feel like?
Yeah, I was super freaked out. Like the first show, like we didn't even announce. I don't even think I was like, I'm not even going to announce the show. Like we're just going to show up and whoever just happens to be there will be there. And then I was like, no, I feel like I should like say it. So the day of, I announced the show, and of course, like all my friends, like, it was the place, was packed with all my friends, and which made me more nervous. I was like, oh God, like all these people are just gonna be like watching me, like this sucks. Like, I don't know, but it was like so fine. I was like, oh, I was just like a blip in time, just like blacked out for 25 minutes. And I was like, oh, that was it. I just did it. Okay, cool. Like, way to be like a freak show for 15 years, like flipping out about it for no reason. So yeah, I just remember being really nervous and then realizing like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like I like felt nothing in the moment. Like I was just like, oh, and then after I was like, cool, I did that, like fun. Let's do it again. And that's kind of like, I think I was still finding my footing a little bit and like getting comfortable being, like on a stage in front of people with like lights pointed at me. Like that doesn't normally like sound like the thing I want to be doing. Like having everyone in a room staring at you is like not ideal.
Not ideal. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I think since then I've definitely like become a lot more comfortable, just like, cool, I'm just gonna go do this real quick and then have as much fun as I can, and and then it's over.
And then you go, when's the next one? When do I finally get to meet the Blowfish? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting to get emailed by their booking agent.
Yeah, it's it'll come.
Yeah.
You don't find Hootie finds you. Let's put it that way.
So I'm waiting for someone to whisper. in Hootie's ear.
Hey, you gotta check this out.
We got the perfect band for you.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. That tour is gonna be really nice. It's coming up soon. Next year.
Yeah.
In these earlier stages, how did you go about kind of filling out the rest of the band?
Yeah, it's definitely, well, my friend Eric, he plays guitar with me. So it's 2 guitars and bass and drums. And he's been one of my best friends. We used to live together for so long. So he was kind of like, one of the main people who I was like, all right, like, I think I'm ready to start doing this. And we kind of got a band together, and it was just like, okay, because we know so many people that play music and everyone's just like down to like always play music. So the band kind of just became like whoever was available, because mostly everyone that I've played with plays in other bands. I think everyone I've ever played with plays in other bands, sometimes multiple other bands. So it's like, okay, if this person's free to do this show, then like they'll do these shows. And like if this person isn't, try and ask this person. So it's songs and stuff. But yeah, we've had, I feel like Eric is kind of the staple that's kind of always been there, but I have had to play some shows without him on guitar too. And he's also had to play some shows. He's a drummer and a guitarist. So he's also had to play some shows playing drums. So yeah, but it's nice to be in such a like great community of people who, are down to do it and, have the time to learn the songs and play with me.
It's very nice. And this is Eric Jimenez, right? From Together Pangea.
Yes.
Fantastic drummer. And what I've heard from him playing the guitar, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Man of many hats.
It's a sweet surprise because, he's such an incredible drummer. Like, he's my favorite drummer. And like, but he also like shreds on guitar, and like not everybody knows that. So it's kind of fun for people, I think, to realize that it's him and then be like, oh shit.
It's awesome. And right now you have a couple different people, Max Keen and Brandon Schwartzel, by the way, both former podcast guests. Please go check out their episodes. They're fucking awesome dudes. Love those guys.
They're the best.
Yes. The best. And Eric, obviously, and you have another the guy's name is Joey, right? Joey
Mullen. He is also a drummer, but he learned how to play bass just to play bass with us. So he this is the first time he's ever played bass in his life. And so basically the last year and a half has been like Max on drums, Joey on bass, and Eric on guitar. And then Joey is in like a couple other bands, and he's been touring a lot recently. So Brandon has like filled in for him on bass.
The solid group of musicians right there.
Yeah. And they're the best guys ever. They're just, so fun to play with and be around. And, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Now, did you meet Eric through CalArts?
Yeah, I was there. I met him in 2011, but I don't remember meeting him at all. Except I took a photo of him, and when I re-met him in 2013, I looked back at these photos and I was like, oh my God, I have a photo, and I met Danny, who also plays in Together Pangea. And I remembered Danny, and Danny and I became friends, but I didn't become friends with Eric until 2 years later. So in 2013 is when Eric and I kind of first actually became friends. And then I also met William. I mean, I guess I met William in 2011, but I don't remember him at all either until I re-met him in 2013. And so William and I started dating then, and now we're married. And that was 10 years ago. So yeah.
Wow. Real quick, please go check out the Danny Banks interview as well. Very, very nice. You're just surrounded by a bunch of just nice guys. This is very good. Now, going back to meeting William and Eric, and they're all part of that that kind of what was going on at Cal Arts at that time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That was through that channel.
Mhm.
Now you said that you started dating William in what was it? Couple years back now?
2013. Yeah, we
Just
met and started dating. Mhm.
almost a decade.
Yeah. Yeah. A few months ago this year, we got
Wow,
married.
it's awesome. Being with a musician and spending almost 10 years together, um, has music been a foundation for you guys as a couple?
I think so. Just, because, separately, obviously, we both love music and like that's always kind of been a part of us. And, he's been publicly playing music much longer than I have. For me, it was like, a much more private thing. Um, but I think, also like seeing your partner do it all the time. I mean, I have no idea how many times I've seen them play, but by this point, so it's like, kind of seeing like when everyone is doing it, it's like monkey see, monkey do. I'm like, okay, if all these people can do it, then like, why can't I? So it kind of, I think, gave me more courage. And like everyone has been so supportive and like, I think that's definitely been like a foundational thing too. And yeah, I think music is definitely a big part of it.
It's amazing. Now, do you guys help each other kind of hash out ideas and write together sometimes?
Not really. We've like done a couple of little songs together before, and I've sang on a couple of Pangea songs, like very, faintly kind of backup vocals. Um, he he definitely shows me like all the demos of songs and will kind of like ask like what I think. But I don't know, I kind of just try to stay out of it because I'm like, this is your thing. Like I'll give you my opinion if if you want it, but I don't want to like influence like how you would like do something, I guess.
Right.
And kind of same for me. Like I will work on something and then when I feel like it's at a place where I like want to show it to him, like I'll show it to him. But that being said, I definitely don't show him like all of my songs. It's kind of like fun to wait and hear the finished thing.
So at the end of the day, he's writing your songs, you're writing his songs. That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah. I would like for
Interesting.
that to be true because I think that he writes such good songs. And I'm like, I want to say that I wrote that one.
I speaking of that, and that you guys have kind of performed some songs together. The last time I saw Together Pangea, you had jumped up on is at the observatory in Santa Ana. That you jumped
Right.
up on stage, and it was interesting. I was like, oh, like that's really cool that you guys were performing together. It's awesome.
Yeah. That was like, we've never done that before. So I don't even know how that like, I think they did like a US tour and my band played like the last few dates on the tour, like up the West Coast. And I think we started doing it on those last few shows. And then they played like a couple, like Orange County and LA. And I did it again for those shows because it's just a fun little thing. Like it was right before we got married and it's like my favorite song on their new record and I just thought it was fitting, so we did that for a few shows and it was super fun.
It seemed very fun for you guys to be doing it. It was very fun to see it from the audience. So well-rounded, nice experience for everybody.
Our music tastes are different and like we do have a lot of overlapping things, but it's nice because it's like, oh, he gets to show me like new music that I've never heard before and like same from me. And then we both, I think, he's been influenced writing songs of things that he's heard me like play for him. So it's cool to like kind of see that play out. And it's like, I guess I've never really like thought about it that much before, but yeah, you know, it's something we can share together, but then also we have a separate, like, you know, a separate thing too.
That's great. It's you guys are together when you need to be together on this project, and it deviates where it needs to deviate.
Yeah.
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 What is the most challenging aspect of making music for you? Is it the writing process, or is it kind of figuring out what should go where? Where does the where is it challenging for you?
I think it's challenging, like when you feel the pressure of like constantly having to be like creating something, or like, I think, you know, in this digital age where it's like you're constantly just bombarded with information and like content, and like there's, you know, a new record out every day, I feel like, from someone I know and don't know, and I'm just, it can feel like, oh, like I'm not moving fast enough, or I'm not doing this quick enough, or like I need to like release something, and it's like just this constant turnover to like stay like, you know, so people like can hear you or hear about you, or like, you know, not forget about you, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like that's pretty hard for me because I'm really picky with myself, and like, you know, with my songs, I guess, you know, I have so many songs just kind of like sitting there that I'm just like, you know, sometimes it takes time from like writing something, maybe demoing it, and then you kind of leave it alone for a while, and then you revisit it and you like rework it, and then you like actually go record. It's like, ugh, I feel like I'm the pressure of constantly having to like put stuff out versus like my method is more like slower than that. Like I really, because I'm really picky with like myself and what, you know, what, how a song gets developed. It takes time, like it from writing it to demoing it, and then like leaving it alone, and then revisiting it and changing things. And but I have had songs where it's like, oh, I'll write it 5 minutes ago, I'll demo it out, I'll record it in my friend's studio tonight, and then I'll release it next week, and then I like don't think about it. So it's just, yeah, it's like finding that balance of being happy with like what you want to put out there, instead of just like putting everything out there all the time.
Yeah, you gotta be happy with what you put out. If it's an album a year, than to put out like 12 albums a year and not be happy with most of them, or most of the songs on them, right? It's like it's quality over quantity.
Yeah, I'd say so, but it's hard. I mean, I look back to that first release and I'm like, I wish I didn't put like a couple of the songs on there, but you know, whatever.
So you're gonna re-release it Taylor Swift style. You're gonna do your own editing on it.
It is what it is. Is that, I was like trying to figure out for so long, like what, because I have TikTok, and let me tell you, the people on TikTok love Taylor Swift. And I was, you know, just seeing all these videos, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, is she, but then I kind of got the whole like scoop. So now I'm like in
Yeah,
on,
you're on the pulse.
yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
I know what's up.
I didn't want you to fall behind you, but you're on it. You're on the TikTok. You're on the pulse of it. You say, I know what the kids are liking, what they're not liking. I'm in it.
I love TikTok. I was a hater at first. I was like, ooh, this is so like, what is this? Like, I'm not going to look at this. And then I just started looking again a lot later, and I was like, oh, it's kind of fun. All this random stuff. You're just the endless scroll. And then I was like, well, I kind of want to like make a TikTok. And so I've made some TikToks. Don't watch them.
Don't do it. Don't find them, people.
No, but don't. It feels cringe when I'm doing it, but I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like having fun.
The guiltiest of pleasures. It's like liking Guns N' Roses. You know, it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
TikTok and Guns N' Roses are my guilty pleasures, and you can fucking quote me on that.
I hope that somebody really quotes you. Like I went to TikTok and consider then that's a DQ, as I say, direct quote.
Yes.
It's there. Um, is difficulty needed in order to make good art? Like we were kind of talking about earlier, that there are like kind of hurdles that you have to cross over to get like a song done or a whole album. Like these are just things that have to happen in order to get to the end goal. Are those obstacles needed?
Yeah, I feel like William and I have had this conversation a lot. Like, yeah, I feel like I used to say no, but maybe, I don't know though. It's hard because it's like, I feel like that's not necessarily true. But, I think back to like some of the songs that I've written and, or like my favorite songs that I've written have definitely kind of come out during a time of, hardship. But then it kind of, you get to a point where it's like, oh, do you just start like self-sabotaging so that like you can have this like well to drink from for this thing that like, it's just is like, what, I don't know. I guess I'd say yes and no. I think it can be easier, but it can also be really hard. Like, and then like, if you're like going through some shit, like, maybe you're not, the first thing you're thinking of is not like, oh, I should sit down with my guitar and try to like write this out. Like, you're like kind of in it and you're feeling the things and you're like, ugh, I got to get through the icky stuff. And then maybe I can like put those feelings somewhere else in a song. So I think I've definitely done that, but I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the person.
Circumstantial.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. I think that was one of the better questions that I asked. It was thought provoking. It was, well, what do Guns N' Roses do? Whatever they're doing, whatever AC/DC is doing, I'm on that. And for yourself, it'd be like Queen.
There's got to be like writing Paradise City.
There's some difficulty in that.
I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It's like lyrically, my songs are not like, even like sonically, like the music itself, like I don't like kind of chippy little doodads. Like, for myself, like I like it when other people can write songs like that, but that just like it's not working for me. But I'm like, oh, like I could never write a song like Paradise City because like it's not really about anything to me. Maybe it is about something. Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh,
try to write something more beautiful than that. Try.
I'll try and channel that next time I feel the urge to write. See what happens.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to flex those muscles. Switching gears a little bit here. I read that you study biology. Is this true?
Yeah, this is true. I, by daylight, am a biologist, and by nightfall, I play music. I also do biology at night, though, so 24/7 biologist.
What about music in the daytime? No, or is it just
no, 24/7 both.
I can't seem to separate the two. They just always they mix into one another.
It does for me.
It's good. Right on.
It would.
Where the heck did the interest in biology stem from? Where did that come from?
Yeah, that is funny because I've gone through my whole life thinking like, oh, I'm not like the science type. I'm the like art, music, whatever. So again, when I got sober in 2016, I mean, I've always loved being outside and like, nature and stuff like that, but it was definitely kind of something that showed up more intensely when I got sober, and I was spending a lot of time outside, just kind of like reflecting and kind of just this meditative thing, just kind of walking and paying attention to like what was happening around me. And I have a good friend. She lives in New York. She is a marine biologist and she loves birds too. And so I think, kind of knowing someone who did that, I was like, oh, like that's really cool. And I started bird watching a lot. And then one thing just kind of led to another. And it was just a full blown obsession. And I just started doing all this work. And then I went back to school to get a degree in biology. And yeah, and now I'm a biologist and I study birds, and that's my day job and I love it.
Is it possible that if music never came into your life, that you would be a biologist? Like if you were to stumble down that road and find watching birds or just the earth in general, studying nature and whatnot, that would have filled up your life and been like, this is it. It's just biology, no music.
If I didn't play music, I still think that music would have like a large,
Impact.
would hold a large space still in a different way. And I think, there have been times in the last couple of years where it's been hard to balance the two. But I have found a way to like be able to do both. And so it does feel like, oh, like biology does feel full time, but I still get to do music because it's just that'll always be a part of me, no matter what I was doing. So yeah, I have found like a way to kind of like connect the two worlds. So yeah, like in my music, like visually, I try to like draw a lot from the natural world. And that's the way I kind of can bridge these two worlds together.
Kelsey, I appreciate you coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think we covered a lot of stuff, which is always nice.
We did.
We got a good chunk of stuff covered. Now of course the next one's going to be about building houses, not even about biology, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it next episode. But for this one, I'm super glad of what we have down. I think we got a lot of good stuff done.
I agree.
We got it recorded. It lives on.
It lives on.
People will look back on this conversation and go, wow, they really did cover a lot of stuff.
All my shit talking is going to bite me in the ass when Mariah Carey knocks on my door.
Again,
I heard you talking shit. And it's nothing against Mariah herself. It's just the sunburn.
Yeah.
It's mostly against the sun. So
I'm gonna try to soften the impact when I see her next. I can't guarantee anything at all. But what I am saying, I will do my darndest. But again, that's just, we'll cross it when we come to it. But it has been really nice having you here, Kelsey. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
And before we get going here and end it, I get some promo for you. So Reckling, streaming on all platforms, wherever the people get their music, that's where you can find you, right?
Yes.
Good deal. And people can support you directly through buying merch and music through the Bandcamp. That's the best place.
Yes.
And that is reckling.bandcamp.com. And you can stay up to date with tours and shows and everything else by following you on Instagram, right? That's the best place.
Yes.
And that's at Kelsey Reck on Instagram, or through the website recklingmusic.com, which will all be linked below. So just go ahead and go click on those nice links there. And got a lot of stuff here. I'm winded. Reckling will be on tour with Fiddler coming up next year, starting in February, right?
Yes.
This may be good. It's West Coast kind of little tour doodad? You're on the West Coast leg?
Yes, West Coast to Vancouver and back.
Woo. And
Yes.
it's starting in Santa Cruz, right? That's the first show.
February 17th, Santa Cruz.
Kick ass. That's gonna be awesome. And is Max and Brandon playing on this leg as well? Are they playing double duty?
No, they're not gonna do double duty. This
Okay.
Brandon was like, I'm kind of down. I was like, no, you need to relax.
He's
Take
just,
it easy.
but he's just a cool dude like that. If anybody's gonna do it and be relaxed about it, it's gonna be him for sure.
Yeah. So no double duty, but twice the fun.
Twice the fun. So if you are in between Santa Cruz and Southern California and Vancouver, be sure to go get some tickets for that. And tickets will become available, and you find all information about that. Following you on Instagram, following Fiddler, keeping up with them as well.
Yeah.
It'll be released further down the line. Yeah, that's gonna be a cool tour.
Yeah, tickets are on sale. We have it all on our website, so get them while you can.
Click the link. I'm gonna link them. So tell them to right below.
All of you, go to the link below, buy a little ticket, have a little time. It'll be great.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be a great show. I'm calling it now. So great
Yeah.
couple of shows.
Are you gonna come to the Orange County show?
No, I'll be in the Vancouver one. I moved. I'm moving to Vancouver, so I'll see you there. Yes, I'll be at the Orange County one. Yes. You're already here. I'm screwing around. I'll come back down to Orange County to see the show. Obviously, I'm not going to see the one in Vancouver though. But I do live in Vancouver now. But that's for next episode. That's for next. Yeah.
All right.
Construction of Vancouver housing, stuff like that. Biology as a whole. Mariah Carey and the words that she has to say to you. So I'll be disclosed next episode. So.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah, well, it has to happen. Yeah, Kelsey, did we miss anything? Did we got to plug anything else? Is there anything else that we gotta?
No, I think we covered the ground.
Good deal. Okay, Kelsey, thank you again. West Coast tour starting in February. Go get those tickets down below. Kelsey, thank you. You're awesome. I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. And thank you again.
Thank you.
I was trying to be silent at the end, but it's okay. We'll fix it in post.
All right.